All right. Grace, does the review count for 415 as well, or do they have a separate review? They have a separate. No. Do we have a day and time for that? Cool. Tuesday, 5:30. Grace will bring punch and pie. Punch and pie. I think that's from South Park. Punch and pie. All right, y'all. What do you want to talk about? I'm not going to do like I did with 310 and create a game show. So we can make this as awkward as y'all want to make it. I'm all game showed out. A brachioradialis exam. Absolutely. We will do we'll do an agonist contraction and let's do a stretch. Would the brachioradialis be stretched at what position? You have three main positions. Obviously, there's degrees. So you have 180 degrees. But you have fully supine or anatomical, you have fully prone, and then you have semi-prone. So of those three positions, I want you to think of these three questions. Where would the brachioradialis be stretched the most as a supinator? What position would the brachioradialis be stretched the most as a pronator? And what position would the brachioradialis not be stretched at all at the radial ulna? Three separate questions. I don't think I've ever asked like this before, but I could. So three questions. Where would the brachioradialis be stretched most efficiently as a supinator, a pronator, and the least amount of stretch for either? And then after that, we'll do a agonist contraction. All right, what position would the brachioradialis not be stretched at all at the radial ulnar joint? Fully prone, fully supine, or semi-prone? Semi-prone, good. That's a cool concept to understand. That it's not going to be lengthened semi-prone. Obviously, we want to make sure that elbow is extended in all of these. What position would it be stretched most as a supinator? Fully pronated. There you go. Makes sense? Because it's fully prone, it's going to be the longest it can be as a supination. And so therefore, if you're trying to stretch it as a pronator, you'd be fully supine. Make sense? Okay, let's do a practical example, and then I'll give you a verbal example. Practical example. Let's say I am here and an external force in this position is trying to do this. So I'm trying to see if you know what that motion is. So the external force is trying to bring me this way. I'm using muscles isometrically to hold that position. You need to identify who those muscles would be and say, well, there's going to be some all the time muscles that are pulling that way. And then you ask yourself, hey, can the brachioradialis help those muscles in that position? Okay. So that's your practical question. I'm in this position. An external force is trying to do this to my radial ulnar joint. What muscles am I using to prevent that motion at the radial ulnar joint? And then is my brachioradialis being recruited to help those muscles? Make sense? Go. Let's walk through it slowly. The external force is trying to do what? To my radial ulnar joint. It's trying to pronate me. You don't need to do quadrants for this. It's only about quadrants when we get to the radial ulnar joint. So I'm going to need supinators. I'm going to have some all the time supinators. My supinator and my biceps brachii. Yes, sir.
Try supinate.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so gravity would be trying to supinate me here, but I have a force trying to push this way. That's okay. That's all right. It's all good. It's all good. So normally, I mean, and remember, gravity is a persistent bugger, as they say in the outback, but it's not very strong, right? Newborn babies can beat gravity with their hands. So as long as I'm pushing this way with more force than gravity, I'm trying to make it do this. All good. Okay, so now let's play that dreaded brachioradialis game. Maybe you put this on your scratch sheet, when I give you time to write. The brachioradialis is a pronation puller when I'm in anatomical up to right before midway. And it's a supination puller when I'm fully prone right up to before midway. Quadrant 1, it's a pronator. Quadrant 2, it's a supinator. Well, we just established I need supinators, and I'm in quadrant 1, so does the brachioradialis qualify to help my agonistic group? See how that works? So do the easy ones first. I'm going to have some all the time pronators. I'm going to have some all the time supinators. 3 out of the 4 are super easy because they have pronator teres, pronator quadratus, supinator. The only weird one is that biceps brachii. And then you do the brachioradialis second, knowing that if I need pronators in quadrant 1, it can help. And if I need supinators in quadrant 2, it can help. But if I need pronators in quadrant 2, it can't help. And if I need supinators in quadrant 1, it can't. That's how I would tackle it. Okay. So we did a stretch, we did a practical, I guess a verbal would be me just telling you, like, I need supinators in a fully prone position. Can the brachioradialis help? Yeah, absolutely. You can pull in that direction. I need pronators and I'm in a fully pronated position. Can it help? No, pull that way. So I guess that would be like a verbal question, where I would give you the position, I would tell you the agonist, and then I would ask the brachioradialis help. One of my favorite ways to practice this, in my opinion, is to do whether you have a bat, pipe, a hammer, just something that you can hold that has weight on one end. But literally, like just practicing supinator, concentric, supinators, concentric, supinators, concentric, pronators, eccentric, pronators, eccentric, pronators, eccentric, pronators, concentric, pronators, concentric, pronators, concentric, supinators, eccentric, because it kind of gets you to the habit of, hey, it can only pull me up to here, but it can let me go down from here, and it can make me go up to here. Let me go down from here, make me go up to here. But it can't make me go down from here. And it can't let me go up to here. That would be magic. All right, we broke the ice. So let's keep the ball rolling. Yeah, third.
So with the shoulder, are you going to give us any horizontal abduction?
I could. Any horizontal AB or adductors, I tell you guys, we're going to keep it to a big daddy and a deltoid. So your horizontal adductor pullers, I'm just going to give you pec major and anterior delt. And your horizontal abductors, I'm either going to give you latissimus dorsi or posterior. I'm going to keep it simple.
Okay. It would only be the sternal fibers of your.
That'd be all of them.
All of them.
Let's think about it. The muscle has a sternal port and a clavicular port, right? So if it's trying to pull the humerus to the sternum and the clavicle, all of those fibers could pull it across. Remember, your circles are based off of anatomical. But if we just kind of use like a layman's term, if my fibers are running from my sternum and my clavicle to my humerus, it would make sense that all of them would have a horizontal pull. Like, get over here. Come closer to my collarbone. Come closer to my sternum.
Gotcha. Anatomical, the sternal fibers don't do shoulder flexion, it's only the clavicular.
That's correct, because the sternal fibers only pull across, right? The claviculars have a vertical pull. So it's that Y component that they can make you come here. Here you're already up. So all the fibers can pull across. Good question, good clarification. So remember, it's not that there aren't others, it's just that's only the ones I would hold you accountable for because it's not an anatomical. So a big one in front, and anterior fibers, a big one in back, and posterior fiber. I'm just telling you the ones that I could potentially ask about. And I love asking some anterior, posterior deltoid fibers. How many muscles make up the deltoid? Good. Guys, it's coming. Like, you know it's coming. You know this, man. I'm going to tell you like I'll tell other classes because I just love gambling. Not really. I'm going to ask that question. And if everybody in class gets it right because you listen, I'll reward the whole class. But if one person gets it wrong, like, you know I'm asking this. How many muscles make up the deltoid? One. If everybody in class can answer that question right, I'll reward the whole class. Still waiting for that to happen. But it might happen, man. This might be the first time. In 310, I would say, all right, guys, I'm going to ask you the shrug. If everybody could tell me that's happening in the scapula and not the shoulder, I'd give everybody a bonus. Still waiting. I'm using that not as, just to clarify, I'm not using that to rub anybody's nose in like a dog. It's meant to show you the power of what we perceive. That's all it is. How hard some of this stuff is etched in our brains. Because remember, you can't practice law without a law degree. But you can practice kinesiology without a kinesiology degree. You know, people practice fitness. They read the magazines. We have family members coaching us when we're kids, which is fine, but it gets bad habits of verbiage in the brain. And that's what we're trying to work through here. So it's just to show you kind of the power of, I'm telling you it's coming. I'm telling you it's coming. I'm telling you I'm going to ask it. And 10 people get it wrong. Try it. Gamble's tricky. We don't know what's coming. I'm telling you what's coming. I'm telling you how I'm going to ask it.
Scapular rotation.
Absolutely. So what are the two different ways? Remember, scapular rotation is specifically upward and downward. That's the one motion of the scapula that has more pure rotation in it. It's kind of like at the shoulder. We have flexion, extension, add, internal and external rotation. Only two motions have the R word in it, rotation, because it's more pure, like a merry-go-round, right? So the elevation, depression, protraction, rotation, retraction, that's general motion. But then the upward and downward rotation is more pure spin of the scapula. Upward rotation, think of it like this. It's going to happen where the scapula repositions the socket, which is attached to the scapula, to help get our hands over our heads, up, to help our hands go up relative to our bodies. It's upward rotation of the scapula. And downward rotation of the scapula would be helping our arms come back down. So upward rotation of the scapula can't really happen if we don't move our shoulders with it. Like I can. But if I'm shrugging, I'm not having upward and downward rotation. If I'm protracting, retracting, I have to move my shoulders to force the scapula reposition. And so that'll be a big tell for upward and downward rotation. There's going to be sagittal and or frontal shoulders. Okay. So if we did like the lat pull down example, the exercise is trying to upwardly rotate me. So I need muscles that are trying to downwardly rotate me. Who are those muscles? Rhomboids, the scapula, pec minor. And it would be the same muscles doing the lat pull down at the scapula than the pull up exercise if you went on bar, right? Same muscles. Because the exercise would be trying to upward rotation. Upward rotation muscles, anytime you're doing presses, shoulder presses, upright rows, even lateral raises, front raises, anytime you're making the arm go up, your scapula is going to upwardly rotate. So if you're making your arm go up, you need muscles that are making your scapula. And who are my upward rotators? My traps and psoas. I think we got some good feedback when I found those pictures. And I mean, if I found them, you can find them. But there were some pictures that kind of show all the force couples acting at the same time, downward rotation. Oh, I thought that was kind of cool. I think I posted those pictures for you. Makes sense? Good. That was did that answer your question? Oh, y'all have had me for 310 before, but just to make sure everybody's on the same page. So Wednesday you have your test, you should have your grades. If there's your optional final is literally meant for you to take if you want. You can either take the grade you have, go spend that time on other exams, projects, stuff. If you come to take your final, there's no new material. It's going to be on the same content. I'm not saying it's the same questions, but it's the same material. 1, 2, and 3. Equal questions from 1, 2, and 3. And that may be the difference between your D to a C, your C to a B, your D to an A. Okay? But it's totally up to you guys whether you want and or need to. I'm not going to do, I can make sure you have your grades right. Like, I have a 79.85 on Moodle, but it says 80 on whatever. Okay, let's call it an 80. So I don't mind making sure we have the same raw numbers. But in terms of me doing basic averages for you guys, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. You know how to average three numbers? You add them up and you divide by 3. If you take 4 tests, no big deal. You add up the 4 numbers and you divide by 4. Not rocket science. And that's why I do it, because I can't do science. I gotta keep it simple. So you can do hypotheticals. What if I make an 88 on the final? Add up your 4 grades, divide by 4, see what you got. What if I make a 78 on the final? Add up your 4 grades, divide by 4, see what you got. But it is not my job, nor it is my responsibility to do all those simulations for you. I care. But the problem is, I have dyslexia, very, very bad. And the last thing I want is for you to come back and say, well, Campbell said if I needed this, that's not my responsibility. Does that make sense? So it's nothing personal. It's just, I don't want to be responsible for making a mistake on my end when I have 80 students in 310 and I have 50-something students in here. You'll see them on Wednesday. I can't be responsible. There's too many numbers, too many names, too many things mess with my dyslexia. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page. You do you, and I'm here to make sure we're on the same. You have your numbers, but you run your simulation, see what you have to get, and then you choose to decide if you want to take it. Murder.
Are we gonna have any questions on the careers in bio?
Absolutely. But it's not going to be life-shattering rocket science. In fact, you probably want several questions to be those, because those are super straightforward. But yeah, I'm not going to waste your time and not ask some. But it's not going to be half of your test. Yes, sir?
For so let's say option for the service.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what I'll do is on Wednesday. Now this is going to be a little bit more challenging, because I think exam 2. You guys in 310 had y'all didn't have the same exam, so we were able to let them out at least a little early. So what I will do is I will, as soon as we let 310 out, if you're ready to go, you're welcome to come in and start right, just like we did on 2, and then I will adjust a little extra time for y'all on your test. But don't come in unless you're ready to start right. Unless you're ready to start going, okay? But as soon as you come in, instead of just sitting around converting oxygen to carbon dioxide, get to writing what you need to write. You're very welcome. I swear, I want to put y'all in the best position to succeed, but just like I told 310, you have to make the play. I'm way too old, and I've been doing this for way too long to give anybody anything. Nor should I. But I'll be darned, I will do my best to put you in a position for you to earn it, for you to make it. Grace is here to help you. She's not here to help me. I mean, she is helping me. But it's because of you guys she's here. She's trying to help you guys make a play. I record my lectures and post them. Do I have to? Heck no, I don't have to. But I do it to try to help you guys make a play. Lead the dog to water. Can't make him drink. I could do all these things to try to help, but at the end of the day, guys, you have to make the play. You've got to give me something to work with. Okay.
What are we doing Friday this week?
Say that again?
What are we doing Friday this week after this week?
Yeah, so Friday is for the people that are taking their test. We could do another review on Unit 1 material, Unit 2 material. I don't expect, like, if you have an A, why would I see you Friday? I mean, unless you're die hard, like, just live and breathe it. But go use Friday to get ready for your other finals. So Friday will be a day, I'm going to be here. I always try to be here. Friday will be a day, making sure we're clear, making sure we're on the same page, making sure that you got your raw grades finalized so that you know What decision do you want to make? And then we can go over whatever y'all want on unit 1, 2, or 3. Yeah, Friday's an optional day for students that want to take their cumulative final. But again, if you just want to come because you enjoy it, yay. When is your final? I think your optional final would be like Friday. It's Monday. Game on. Get her done.
Really explain like photos and like overhead and be like an example you had, I'll really understand.
Yeah, okay. Well, let me try. If you don't understand, that's a me thing. So let me try to explain it in a different way that like, okay, that works for my brain. In anatomical position, it can be a pronator. Well, it is a pronator, right? Because it pulls that way. When it's working concentrically, you're going to have pronation from anatomical. And when it's working eccentrically, you're going to have supination from semi-prone.
Yeah, I understand it's a term.
Okay. It's the other part that's missing. Well, but that's okay. Let's reestablish what we're comfortable with and say, okay, we get that. Okay. Still good. Let's just bathe in our confidence in this quad. Bathing in our confidence in this quad. It's pulling this way concentric, and it's still pulling that way eccentrically. Okay. If it can do this concentrically, it can't do this concentric. If the string can make my PVC pipe come up to here, it can't make my pipe go down from there. So if it can do pronation concentrically in quadrant 1, it cannot do supination concentrically in quadrant. If it can do supination eccentrically in quadrant 1, it can't do pronation eccentrically in quadrant. Okay. Now let's flip it over to the upside down. It's really globally doing the same thing. It's trying to pull the pole up. Here, it's pulling this way. Here, it's pulling this way. So it's a supinator once I pass midway. If it can be a supinator through concentric here, then it can't be a pronator concentrically from there. And if it can be a supinator eccentrically here, it can't be a pronator eccentrically here, because it can only pull. When I'm here, it's a pronator, and when I'm here, it's a supinator, because of. So that's why I was like, let's build our confidence in what we can see, and all we're doing is mirroring it.
So in your example, you gave her a Y, isn't it? Again?
Sure. Because in the example I gave earlier, my external force wasn't trying to supinate me. In the example I gave earlier, my external force was trying to pronate me. So if it was trying to pronate me here, I need supination pulls. The brachioradialis is like, dude, I can't push you.
If it went the opposite way then,
That
if you were going the opposite, it would be mirrored.
is, yes, absolutely, it could be on. Let's do a different game. On, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. That was just isometric. Like other arm?
Yeah.
Yeah. On, off, on, off. Pronator, still a pronator, but it's off. You don't need it. You need supinators right here. It can't be a supinator in this quadrant. On, off, on, off, on, off. Supinator, quadrant 2, on. Pronator, quadrant 2, off. Pronator, quadrant 1, on. Supinator, quadrant 1, off.
It's in between like fully prone and
Uh-huh.
topical.
We call that semi-prone. Yep.
Yeah, semi-prone. It wouldn't, it contract isometrically to keep it there if you were pushing from either side?
Well, so it's a good question, but let me give you an analogy that we're used to help me answer. If you were doing a stork stand, right, you're balancing, you say, okay, if I'm perfectly balanced, I wouldn't need my inverters nor my everters if I was perfectly balanced. But there's no such thing as perfect balance. Everything's dynamic. So if you notice when you start stand, you're constantly fluctuating between inverters and everters, right, to try to help you. So it's very simple. If I was perfectly semi-prone, I wouldn't need it. But realistically, you're constantly going to be fluctuating. Bring it back here, bring it back there, bring it, they call that undulating constants. Obviously, I wouldn't ask. But the point is that if you're truly in a semi-prone position, it can't pull. If you're right in the middle, it can only pull you to the middle. So if you're in the middle, it can't pull you there. That analogy makes sense with this next.
Just to clarify, quadrant 1 is quadrant 2 is
Well, so no, you're good. So it's a mirror. It's mirror in. Make sure we're talking about rights and lefts compared to my right and left. A right of a right we call lateral, right side. But on my left side, it's the left of my left. So quadrant 1, that's why I typically don't use right and left. I'll say quadrant 1, we term it from anatomical position to right before semi-prone. This is quadrant 1. Quadrant 2 is right after semi-prone to fully prone. Quadrant 2. Quadrants, yeah. So quadrant 1, fully anatomical position to semi-prone. 2 is semi-prone to fully prone. It's a pronator in quadrant 1, it's a supinator. Yeah, Chris.
I think if like you're still struggling to see the way that looks, the PowerPoint that has animations and muscles on the movies has like different overflexor, a supinator, and radiator. And I feel like that just helps me see why it goes back to the CI engineer.
It's a great point. So you have as extra teaching tools the PowerPoints, the visuals. If you're more of a visual learner for pole, go check out those PowerPoints. 33 questions on the test, 30 of them will be radial on joint. No. I'll dismiss. You know, it's important though, guys. You have a majority of muscles only pull in one direction, but there are these kind of versatile muscles that can switch function. I think I gave you the example like the piriformis. Even though I didn't hold you accountable for it in grad school, you need to know that the piriformis is an abductor and an external rotator. But what happens when you flex the hip and it's lining up with it? Well, it's not trying to rotate it here at all. It's just trying to pull this way. And if you flex from here, well, now it's actually trying to pull the other way. It's trying to internally rotate me up here, as opposed to externally rotate me down here. This is an example. So I'm trying to introduce you to these muscles that can switch function based on position. And to me, the easiest one to see is the brachioradialis because it's nice and clean midway. 180 degrees of motion midway. I guess the pec would be another one. Like I mentioned last week, just make sure you fine tune your majors and your minors and there's a lot of things that have brachio in it. Brachialis, biceps brachii, core quote brachialis. So just make sure you don't get those things confused. Muscles make up the right delta. Yeah. See, even they know the answer. They called you to be like, dude, it's one. Like, I know.
Shoulder rotation.
Absolutely. You have anything in mind or just anything I can think of? Okay. So, see, how about, I'll do a practical one. Let's do, how to make it obvious. Something different. I've done this exact exercise before. So I start here and I do this. That could be like question number one. And then this could be question number two. Just for the sake of, I don't have it with me. Let's just pretend it's 100 pounds. Okay. You're going to have to pretend.
So going down and
Going down will be question one. Coming up will be question two. Do you want me to do like just randomly pick muscles, pick for answer choices? Okay. Let's say it was an anterior posterior delt option. So anterior, concentric, anterior, eccentric, posterior, concentric, posterior, eccentric. Does anybody else in here besides me have a December birthday? I'm just curious. Any December birthdays? What's that? Not today. Not
We should
today.
celebrate.
Oh, yeah, we should.
What day is it?
Like a Tuesday?
What about the 9th?
What about
Is that your birthday?
No.
Tomorrow?
I don't know.
It's tomorrow. I'm gonna come to the party.
Can we have punch and pot?
Yeah, what's your favorite?
Oh my gosh. My mom makes a pecan pie that's incredible. It's just pecans and a lot of glycemic index, rule breaking.
So is it
And
specific?
apple pie is really good. What's that? Apple
Pie or just-
Yeah, it's fucking.
Well, that's not helpful.
No, I appreciate it. I'm good. My wife and I have the same birthday.
Really? We're just meant to be together.
No, that was part of my criteria.
Really?
I never forgot. I'm playing checkers. That's really nice of you. Thank you. All right, guys. How I would do it is before you go to specific muscles, let's do agonistic groups based off of pull. Because remember, these names of muscles outside of some of our favorites, pronator, supinator, adductor, most of them are just Latin origins and stuff. So this exercise, I needed internal rotators. True, because the weight was trying to externally rotate me. So I needed internal rotators. So that tells me right away I need the anterior deltoid. When I went down, that was external rotation. So my anterior deltoid working eccentric was question number 1. Anterior deltoid concentric for question number 2. Makes sense? That's how I would do it. Because based off of feedback, if you go right to the muscles, anterior, posterior, I can see how it totally get super confusing. But we can answer all these questions, fill in the blank. Or at least see what muscles I'm asking, and then just say, okay, he's asking me anterior, posterior, now let me go figure it out, and then come. Maybe something like that might help. Or I think we talked about it last week, like, I need internal rotators, highlight who that would be on your circle or your list, and then see which one I match. Rotation. Good. It's whatever works, right? So you got it. All right, any other questions? All right, guys. Y'all have a good day.